guys with their nails done.
When a new mainline update drops, expect a lot of nerfs and buffs, and also, expect new meta to be formed. Just take the recent update as an example. The removal of self-damage in the game was a big leap for Warframe. It formed a new meta, and that is the new explosive meta. Welcome, everyone. In today's video, I will share with you all my experience in the game using explosive weaponry. In detail, this video will inform you of all the things you need to know about the new explosive meta, including some dumb fun synergies you can use that will surely give you tons of enjoyment in the game. So, sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy, and find the video informative. Like always, please do hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button to get notifications on the latest videos we uploaded on our channel. Thank you so much, and now, let's get into the discussion. The first thing you need to know is what happened to self-damage. Well, there's nothing to explain exactly here. All you need to know is that self-damage is out of the picture now. Instead of dying from accidental explosions, you will either get flinch or knockback. Not dying from an explosion is obviously a good thing, as now, you can have fun with explosive weapons without being afraid of getting one-shotted by your own doing. However, the knockback or stagger effect is quite annoying sometimes. The closer you are to the explosion, the more prone you are to the knockback effect. Honestly, you will have no problem using primary explosive weaponry in start chart missions, as the stagger can be negated by firing the explosive weapon in a distance or by equipping either cautious shot or primed sure-footed. Cautious shot has a 90% chance to negate all stagger effect at max rank, while primed sure-footed will completely negate any stagger. No more interruption means you can freely shot your explosive weaponry at a close distance. It's a good thing since explosive weapons received a damage fall-off mechanic. You will see in your explosive weapon screen a statistic that says fall-off. This is only exclusive for an area of effect weapons, and it means that, on the very outer section of the explosion radius, only 10% of the damage will be dealt. So, shooting the explosion closer to enemies will somehow allow you to inflict the full damage of the explosion almost all the time. Like I've said earlier, you will have no problem using primary explosives in star chart missions, but, when you are idle and hunting, you will surely feel the nuisance of this new stagger mechanic, especially if you are using the Shrugs and scaffold in your amp. As you all know, this amp material has self-damage, and it was hit by the update big time. The stagger removed its efficiency in taking down idle and shields. Since building an amp with this scaffold requires you to be at mid-range to be effective, the flinch and stagger will surely hinder you from taking down the shields as fast as you can. It wouldn't be a problem for those who are using Volt in idle and hunts, as firing it through his electric shields won't cause you to get flinched or knockbacked. However, it surely is a problem for those solo hunters who use other frames for this mission. It's not a big problem though, as it's just a simple nuisance that can be fixed easily by the developers. For now, the only thing you can do is to get good with Volt if you want to solo hunt, or do it with a team and fire all your shots through Volt shields, or you can use another amp combination which we will discuss on my future video. Overall, the removal of self-damage gives joy to those players who love to have some dumb fun with their explosive weapons, but it also causes little problems which I hope to be fixed by the developers in the future update. If not, then we could just adapt to the changes, and remember that this game is all about balance. We need to sacrifice something to be powerful. Speaking of power, let us now see the madness that this new explosive meta has brought to the game. It's nice to see a Bramo obliterating enemies on its own, but hell, it would be a lot better if you add some extra resource on it in the form of Warframe abilities. In this video, we will be using Bramo as an example, but you can use your favorite explosive weapons if you want to. Also, I will be using a viral hunter munitions build for my Bramo on this video. For a more detailed guide about this weapon, I advise you to check out my Bramo video, which I left the link at the end of this video. Okay, now let's see some awesome synergies. The first few synergies are what I called flinch-free synergy. These are those warframes that lets you use explosive weapons without worrying about the new stagger mechanic, even if you did not equip any stagger negation mods. The first one is an iron skin rhino. All you need to do is build this frame with lots of power, strength, armor, efficiency, and then the ironclad charge and iron shrapnel augment. The two augments will help you ramp up your iron skin buff, and once you have your iron skin, you are safe to shoot any explosive weapons even if aiming at your feet. The second one is Nizza. Just like Rhino, Nizza has a special ability to negate any stagger effect. His warding halo works like iron skin. It gives you an extra layer of survivability, and the ability to negate any stagger. Although they both frames work similarly for this synergy, I find Nizza more fun to play since not only he can tank, but he can also do some crowd control. Not to mention that he's also a speedster, and assimilate Nikes would also be effective for this explosive synergy. It's not hard to move around with an assimilate Nikes right now, since you can freely use your operator for mobility. Also, you can tune your build to give this frame's psychic bolt ability a 100% chance to strip enemy armor, making a viral Kuvabram extremely powerful. However, you might encounter some problems with this synergy in terms of energy efficiency at high level content. Good thing that we have shield gating to stop any one-shot hit, which then gives you enough time to retreat and recover your lost energy. A max rank arcane energize would be very helpful for this synergy. But if you are not convinced about Nikes, then you can go and try out Oberon. This frame has it all. It got survivability, stagger negation, crowd control, and as well as armor stripping with his fourth ability. The best part is, he is completely mobile and can cast his hallowed ground anywhere to both crowd control and negate any flinch and knockback effects. Moving along, we also got Nidus. I have shown this on my previous video and it's definitely a synergy worth trying in long endurance runs. Nidus' link ability allows him to be tanky and negate stagger at the same time, while his lava will group enemies together, allowing you to destroy enemies in one explosion easier. But it doesn't stop there. Giving your Nidus a lot of power strength plus the teaming virulence augment will increase the critical chance of your explosive weaponry. Another good synergy is Vorban with any explosive weaponry. His fourth ability, which can be turned into a vortex, is also a good option to group and kill a bunch of enemies. This is also good in long endurance runs, but, unlike Nidus, you will need to have a good spot to camp as you will definitely get wrecked by enemies once their levels scale beyond level 1000. Shield gating won't be enough, so, be careful with this synergy. Trinity is also a good pick for this type of synergy. Her link ability will also negate any stagger effect, and make her a good tank at the same time. If you are looking for a frame that will not run out of energy, and survive for a very long time in endurance runs, then I suggest that you try Trinity. Now in the past, my go-to frame when using explosive weapons is Revenant. This frame's Mesmer skin will give you immunity to any self-damaging weapons, but now, it works like an anti-stagger ability. In the past, I was using a pure power strength and max efficiency on my Revenant just to make his Mesmer skin reliable. But now, I find using some duration is quite useful too, especially when you are running solo. Duration adds some defense to Mesmer skin since you can stun enemies for a couple of seconds when they dare to attack you. Also, with some duration, you can use his other abilities like Enthrall and Reeve, so you won't have to recast Mesmer skin every time. If you don't like Mesmer skin, then you can always go with Sandboy and arrows. This frame doesn't care even if he shoots a Kuvabram projectile on his feet. Just remember to put the negation swarm augment on your build, since this mod is the key to negate any stagger effect in the game. But flinch-free synergies are not the only ones I will be showing on this video. There are also damage boosting synergies. Frames like Mirage will give you some dumb fun using explosive weaponry. Her Hall of Mirrors give out extra projectiles, increasing the amount of damage you deal, while his Eclipse ability also gives out bonus damage buff. A simple tweak on your Mirage build, and adding primed sure-footed, will allow you to nuke enemies with any explosive weapons. The good part is, there's a way not to die with Mirage now by simply exploiting the new shield gating mechanic. If you want to see how, then you might want to take a look at my Immortal Mirage video, which I left the link at the end of this guide. Another damage buffing frames that you must try with this explosive synergy is Chroma. Without the self-damage, Chroma can obliterate enemies now with an explosive weapon easily. Although the self-damage removal made Chroma slightly inefficient in Eidolon hunts, still, he can be very fun to play with in Star Chart missions. One quick tip though, try to equip Cautious Shot in your primary explosive weapon, as Chroma needs a lot of survivability mods in his build, so he can keep up with high-level enemies. Last synergies for this video are what I called stealth bombers. Using frames like Ash with a viral hunter munitions Kuvabram is very fun to play with. In fact, this type of synergy will allow you to go endless in survival missions, provided that you have the time and interest in doing it. What makes Ash really strong with this type of setup is he got the ability to strip armors with his Seeking Shuriken Augment, and he also increases the duration and damage of the bleed effects inflicted on the enemies. Aside from Ash, there's also Ivara. This frame may not have the bleed increase, nor the armor stripping that Ash have, but Ivara has these unique tools that allow her to be effective in the battlefield. Her first ability with the Empowered Quiver will not just increase your critical damage when you are hanging on your dash wire, but it also gives you status resistance once you are inside your cloak bubble. Just a reminder though, use the Hush mod on your primary weapon so you won't break your prowl once you shoot your explosive weapon. So that's about it, lads. A lot of synergy and information about explosive weaponry in one video. How good is that? Thank you for taking some time to watch my video. If you enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.